I want to talk about getting started with the right experience. Getting started with the right experience. I always take it back to generally when I got started in real estate or when I got started in business. What happened, I just got started. And so for me getting started, I was excited. I didn't have a plan put in place. I just did it. And so for me just doing it, I felt my way around. You say entrepreneurs, what they do is they'll jump out of the airplane and then they'll figure out where how the parachute works and all this other stuff like that. But now I've been trained in a way where you do research. You have to get analytical. You have to there's a certain thing that you need to do in order to get to the next step. So it's one step forward and then two steps backwards because you'll have a gain and then you'll have a loss and then you have a gain. So in essence, what that looks like is consistency, making sure that you are consistent. So if you're learning, you're learning. But there's only a loss if you don't go and get back up again after you've fallen down. Right? And so what that looks like is in essence is failure. You will have to fail in order to get to the point where you're trying to get to, right? And so I'll be responding to some messages too. Sometimes we learn patience as we go and as we grow. And so the processes that we put in place to things are is it can be sometimes messy, right? But if we're consistent and persistent with ourselves, with the goals that we're trying to do, um, that's where the success lies. Success lies on the other side of fear, right? And what happened, I was consistent. Although I didn't feel like it, I was consistent. And so what we did was we were able to get the deal. We ironed out all of the details. And it was so much that went into getting this deal. And so I'm sharing this with you that success is not easy. Success will be hard. But if everyone would do it because they thought it was easy, then we'll have a lot of a different world. So in order to get to success, you have to put the work, you have to put the time into to doing it, right? And so from that, in regards to what any and everything that we're doing, right, we have to persist. It's a numbers game. Success is a numbers game. So just like you're on a new job, when you first got started driving, when you started school, it was a process. You had to continue to do it. You had some rough nights, long nights, kind of understand, even beginning how to learn your ABCs, right? How to read. It was a step by step by step process. So getting started in business, it's the same thing. It's a step by step by step process. Don't give up on yourself. So, and I got to give you guys an update on the 90-day challenge. So we had a 90-day challenge, right? So never do anything alone because if you're doing things alone, um, it could it could really mess with your attitude, mess with the law of attraction, what you're trying to attract. You need to have somebody on the other end that can push you to be better, right? And so by you doing that, that that takes you to a different level. And what I've experienced, guys, when I tell you, I did not know that I had the sheer will to go deep down to bring out the best in me. And I share with you. So what my experience was, I wanted to quit. But my partner said, hey, no, you're not going to quit. So I'll explain what the 90-day challenge is. The 90-day challenge was we had to get 200 miles within 90 days. So I know some people saying 200 miles, are you crazy? Work backwards. We have 200 miles, right? So once we work backwards, that 200 miles is anywhere from 2.2 to 2.3 miles a day within the 90 days that will give us the 200 miles, right? So I challenged my partner. I said, hey, if you beat me, you and your friend get to stay at the corporate room. I have to pay for it. So I just knew I was not going to lose. But sad to say, I lost. I didn't get beat by much, so it was 4 miles. But however, I called her and I congratulated my accountability partner because what she did for me, she pushed me to a level where I did not know that I had it in us because we don't use half of the brain functions or half of the brain's power. So there were days when I was walking, and I did a couple of lives where I did an actual live letting you guys know what I thought, what I felt, and why I was not going to give up because I'd already been through that phase of the challenge. Because to be honest, guys, I was like, why in the world did I agree to this challenge? But what it did, it gave me a healthier outlook. It gave me a healthier balance. It gave me activity, right? It gave me a healthy habit. So that's an experience, starting with the right experience. So you're going to have some ups, you're going to have some downs, and you're going to have some highs, and you're going to have some lows. But the biggest thing is that you show up for yourself every day on a daily basis.
We all deal with challenges, right? And so
Yes,
even
sir.
with the people you consult with, because I want to give people some solutions, right? On what they can do when they come across these challenges or obstacles. What would you say to that?
So it depends. Every situation is different. So let's say if somebody has relationship issues, because man, I can tell you how to be successful, and I definitely can tell you how to fail in relationships. So it's based on, if you think about it, everything breaks down in communication. When you aren't communicating with people, when you're not allowing people to be them, to be their authentic self, and it could be words that really hurt. So we got to get out of the emotion and stick to the facts. So sometimes we can feel a certain way and it can be misconstrued, or you can have a misunderstanding. So and I'll give y'all an example. So there was a deal that we sold, and my realtor and my business partner, they were getting into it, and I could not, for the life of me, it really angered me, and it upset me from the standpoint. I'm like, guys, we are about to make a lot of money, and y'all are being petty over pennies. And what really made me upset was because I was in Wisconsin, and I was going to the grocery, well, no, to a gas station to get some gas and get some snacks. And man, I remember this just like it was yesterday. There was this guy who, he smiled when I came in, and he lit the whole room up. He lit the whole building up. And I had to go over and ask him. I said, "Man, you got a big smile." And I'm like, what's like, you got a wife at home waiting on you, right? And so he was like, "No." He said, "Actually, she's overseas." And so he told me a little bit about his story. He said he was attacked by some people in his homeland. And so he was granted a green card because he was almost killed. And I'm like, in my mind, I see these two people that I'm not getting along with, because they're not getting along with. They're arguing over pennies on the dollar. And then here this man is, he had to uproot his whole life, and he is smiling. And I'm like, that is amazing. And he was like, "Man, I don't have time. I don't have time. Look, I'm working, and I'm trying to provide for my family, so one day they can come and join me." And he said, that's why I smile. I said, wow, that's big. That is really, really big.
Says, what advice would you give someone who's trying to break free from their own limited beliefs?
I would say, right, stick to the facts of what you're wanting to get accomplished. So start with one simple task that you want to do. Write it down, commit to actually doing it. And then once you commit to it, get some help. So let's say if it's education, if it's the real estate education that you're trying to get, don't try and learn everything. Learn one strategy that matches with you, right? And so what that means is, if it's something that you're trying to learn and you don't get it, if there's something that you get, focus on what you can get. Don't fight for something that you're not able to remember, because guess what? You're going to lose time and energy on the thing that you're not remembering. So you're not remembering it for a reason, but you can always go back and you will reflect on that thing. And then the more that you do it, the more that you hang around people that are talking about certain strategies, then you'll be able to pick up. So the obstacle comes from you. So before you even talk about like doing multifamily or just anything business wise, you got to get yourself right, because there's going to come a time when there is difficulty and you face adversity, and you got to practice what you preach. So when I say when you meet resistance, you got to be consistent. So if the goal is to be a real estate investor, know that you're going to lose people along the way, know that it's going to be difficult. So at the end of the day, the issue was not any of the problems that I faced. The issue was in me, because I couldn't overcome them at that particular time. So that's why I say work on yourself first, so you can have a smooth sailing when it comes to real estate. Make sure that you join a community like this of like-minded individuals who have faced adversity. Ask questions, and then once you ask those questions, then they can lead you. If they don't have an answer, they could get somebody else to do that.